So, day 4, day 3 of sailing, we left out of Cane Garden Bay. Plan was to go up the coast, come around the north end of the island, slip between Camino and Tortola, and then where were we planning on going? To the Bats? That was our plan. Or we were either that or we were going to going up to the Bitter End Yacht Club. That was the plan. That was the loose plan. And so everything started out fine. We got up early. We had breakfast and coffee before we left, but we got up pretty early and got that done pretty early, and then started heading up the coast. And then we made it up the coast just fine. We motored most of the way, I guess, and then put our sails up before we came around the point. And that was the mistake because it seemed very calm and very tame, and then when we came around the point, it was less than calm and less than tame, and we shook both reefs out. Well, at least one.
No, we shook them both out.
Did we shake them both out?
Yes.
Okay, so we shook both reefs out, and then we tried to reef the jib, thinking it was the power on this boat. You know, as we were figuring out this boat, which is a really nice boat, by the way. It's just we don't know it well, so we're still discovering all the systems. I mean, you're discovering, you know, the water systems, the electrical systems, the heads, and where the best place to sleep is when the dinghy's banging against the back of the boat, or the whatever. I mean, we got a mooring the night before, so we hadn't really. The 2 nights before, so we hadn't really experienced much of anything other than the moorings. And so as long as you got the boat, the dinghy on the back, you're not really getting hell beat out of you. You're not really thinking about it. You don't realize it's banging against, because once everything starts swirling in the bay, it does happen. So anybody that would have been on the back of the boat, don't going on the whole time, because that dinghy was definitely banging into the back. So that's a factor. We were in the fore, you know, not the 4B, but the forward cabin, B berth, and we didn't hear it, and we didn't have any problems. And he fixed the hatch for us so it didn't get rained on again. So the hatch is good. Just knocked it all around, woman.
I'm sorry, I just realized, you put the dinghy in the front. I was like, where the fuck is our dinghy?
We lost it, it's gone. And you're walking in front of my camera, ass.
Sorry.
So, we've been learning. So, but we came around that corner and we got the hell knocked out of us, and then we realized quickly we had a reef in. We got 1 reef in, should have put 2 in, that didn't. But we managed to just hang on, and the storm intensified. The storms came.
The swell was already big.
The winds were already high, but when the rain came, it brought in heavy gusts, and it was everything we could do to hang on. And with that reef Genoa, it finally broke the damn clutch off the Genoa, and it went flying, and then we were in trouble because we had too much main out and every bit of our jib out, which we couldn't handle. We had that jib pulled in pretty tight. There wasn't much jib showing, and then when that happened, it was just all hell and chaos and mayhem. And so we did the best we could to rein it in, and the rain. Speaking of rain, the other kind of rain, the rain came and started beating the hell out of us too, and we couldn't see much. We knew there was a bay up ahead of us, and we had managed to make it close to, so we had to try to get to it. It was White Bay on Guana Island, and it wasn't public access. It's all private moorings, and we tied up to any one anyway because there was 2 or 3 open.
No other option.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 open, and there was no other option.
To just be safe.
It was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. We were just sitting there licking our wounds, trying to clean up the rigging, trying to clean up the sails, trying to get them put away because it was just bad. It was just so bad. We got the damn it knocked out of us, and we handled it well, but we did get the damn it knocked out of us. You know, we did the best we could, but the weather turned, and we paid the price for it. So anyway, so we made it to White Bay, and the storm passed, and as it passed, and we were licking our wounds trying to figure out where to go, we noticed this huge ass yacht. Looked it up, Lionheart. Was that the name of it? Lionheart?
Might have been Lionheart.
Lionheart, something Lionheart. It was something along those lines. but it was Sir Philip Given, whatever. It wasn't Givens. It was Sir Philip something. We looked him up. He's a billionaire. He's one of the world's billionaires, which there aren't that many of them. So I'm sure you could look up Sir Philip the billionaire and find him pretty easy. But he's got a huge freaking yacht, and he's apparently down here, and he was just anchored, and no telling where he was at, because I'm sure he wasn't sitting on his boat. He probably was out doing something somewhere, meeting with someone important or special or whatever. Who knows?
It was one of those super yachts that had like 5 of the radar bubbles.
Big radar domes, huge.
And the dinghy for it had a garage that it pulled into. And
it was
large.
ridiculous. It was like nothing like James Bond would have been. Any of the James Bond films would have been. Blofeld would have been jealous to have this man's boat. It was just ridiculous. But anyway, it gave us something to do, look the man up and see what was going on while we were sitting there licking our wounds, feeling bad.
Waiting for the weather to get better and figure out what we were going to do next.
And so it did. It finally turned, and it was
the
at least
winds
calm.
didn't go away, but the
the
rain
swell
went
and the
away
rain
and the
went
squall
away.
went
Right.
away.
Yes. But the winds were there, and so we decided we were not going to fight with that wind anymore and tear up any more shit, because we did. We tore up. We lost the clutch on the jib furler. So now it's got to be tied off, which is fine. You can do that, but you're demoralized at that point. You just don't want to do it anymore. So we decided at that point we're not going to be aggressive and go to the top of Bitter End. We were going to head south to Spanish Town and try to stay there, and then be staged for the bass the next morning. So we went straight, and it was a hard motor across some really rough damn seas. It was so difficult. It didn't take but an hour and a half, something like that. But it was just brutal. In a boat this small, it was just brutal. But we did make it, and we got over there, and still demoralized and shook up and not sure about ourselves, and we didn't want to go into the marina, or I didn't. Christy didn't really tell me she wanted to go in the marina. I didn't. I went through a hook out, and so we stayed on the hook, which is a nervous thing, and it took us most of the night to get to the point where I was calm enough and trusted enough.
And we were dug in enough to stay put.
That we weren't going anywhere. But, boats came and went. We saw boats that were going to stay, boats that weren't going to stay. We were in a good place. We didn't have to move. We weren't going anywhere.
There were a lot of boats anchored around us,
Yeah.
so as long as the anchor held, we were going to be okay.
Yeah, we kept paying out more and more line. We probably put another 20 feet on the ground, which was great. That's what kept us from going anywhere further, and we woke up.
It was clear, beautiful turquoise water. Had it not been so choppy, we could have seen all the way to the damn bottom.
That's the story of the whole damn place. If we could just get it to be calm, it would have been great. It's a little cold, but it's
well, a little cooler than we'd like.
Right.
Island weather, but
right. Most people probably be fine with
the
it.
chop in the water kind of took some of the beauty of the water out.
Right.
You can't see through it.
But we did get squared away on that hook, and we were able to have an easy night, relatively speaking, except for it was still very rolly because the gusts were just rough, and they were coming over the hills, and they were just pushing us around. Christy had a rough night. She hadn't really slept. So she's just kind of tired. She's kind of raw. But we were staged good for the bass the next day, so we figured it was still a good success. And we've had a rough time up to that point. We still had some good times, but we had a rough time. This day was tough. Very tough. Very bad. Very hard. But here's what it is. We managed. We were safely on the hook, and we had to do the best we could. Wake up the next morning, try to figure out what was going on. So we'll talk about day 5 or day.
Today's day 5.
No, today's day 7. 7. Saturday was 1. Sunday, Tuesday. First day sailing, technically, 8 days. 7 days is going to be, so 6 days. Yeah, okay, you're right. Never mind, I don't know. 6 days. Nevertheless, it was the next day since the last log, whatever the hell that is. And we will talk about that day next. Good night.